Okay, good afternoon once more and welcome to this Masters class session. Today I'm Victor Fossoh. I actually know most of you here, but most of you might not know me. I've had a table tennis career for almost 22 years. I've played while in Cameroon with the national team. I played as well in Belgium at the B level. Then I moved over to Canada. In the process of playing, I coach as well, from kids to adult, senior, advanced players as well. So I have a quite good amount of experience that I'm willing to share with you guys with regards to what we're going to talk today. So it will definitely be an interactive session. Feel free to interrupt if you have any questions or if you need clarifications. I'll be here to actually address those issues. So the topic of today is how to develop a winning style, a playing style. From what I've noticed, I've actually coached a quite good number of you here and other players as well, not just in the club, but at other clubs. And I realized that people do play, they have taken a fair amount of training and they execute quite good amount of strokes, but they actually lack that flow when it comes to playing matches. They can't put that combination that they actually have during a practice session, and they cannot implement that during a game. It becomes so difficult. Why is that the case? It's simply because you don't have a playing style. You don't have a weapon that you use in actually making a point. That's basically it. Having a playing style is having that reliable stroke that you can execute during a game, or you can compel your opponent to actually give you that opportunity to execute that particular stroke or a particular pattern, how you play a game in order to make a point, to win a point. So that's actually what we're going to actually talk today in general. So in order to discuss that, we are going to talk about 4 different aspects of developing a winning playing style, which will go with like the process of developing a winning playing style. Then we'll talk about what is a winning playing style. We'll also actually try to identify, help you choose a winning playing style, and as well as turning that winning playing style into a strength that you can use, and at the end, like a conclusion, how you can put all of those pieces together, okay, in order to win a point, because the essence is actually playing a game, winning a point, having fun. If you have a perfect playing style that you actually use, it becomes interesting, it becomes fun, you can enjoy the game, okay? So I would just want to ask like a general question. Does any one of you actually know or have a particular playing style that you know it is something you can use at any time during a game?
Excuse me, can you come a little more closer?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because with my ears not.
Okay, I would shout because the camera is a little bit that way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, I was asking, does any of you actually have a particular playing style that you know you can actually use that during a game to make a point or compel your opponent to let you play in a particular way that you want to make a point?
So are you defining a playing style as being offensive, defensive, chopping? What is a playing style?
Okay, yeah, you're actually ahead, which is good. Yeah, but I just wanted to know if someone has that playing style. Yeah, it is a whole lot of defense, chop, block. We'll talk about that at the type of playing styles that I will definitely address. Okay, yes?
Well, sometimes I place a ball in a certain direction that forces the opponent to attack with the topspin, and I block with the other side. So that's one thing I'm trying to do.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
For winning, you must have some tricky service first. You can win if you have a tricky service.
Good.
That's you will get the 100% point.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
One thing. Another thing, you should be attacking instead of defensive. I would like to attack.
Okay.
Yes, attacker wins it.
That's good. That's another playing style.
To try to be unpredictable and not do the expected.
Great. That's good. but you should also have the follow-up, how to follow up on what you're actually doing, okay? So that is really good. I just like the idea that people understand that how to get a playing style, what is a playing style, how to actually, if you can actually use that playing style to actually make a point. That's good. I just wanted to get a general view about that. We'll talk about the various playing styles and which one can actually you can use or use to suit your game. So okay, the next aspect, that the very first aspect that I will talk about is what is a playing style, okay? And the playing style, like I said earlier, it's based on three aspects, okay? The first style is built around a particular and reliable way of actually using to make a point. A particular and reliable way. It can either be just on the spin, it can either be quick hand, hitting the balls, counter hit quickly, or it can either be a top spin or a smash, or whichever. We would address that subsequently, okay? So that is actually one of a particular playing style you can use. And the other, secondly, it can be a combination of everything. Either the chop, the block, the top spin, the smash. So it can either be a particular way you use, like you serve, like he said, you top spin, you finish, you make a point, okay? Or you serve, you top spin, your opponent, you block and control the balls, push the balls deeper, so your opponent is actually unstable. You compare him to actually do what you want, and you make a point in that process. So it's either that the particular means of hitting the ball, like just top spin or smashing, you're waiting just for that moment, at that right moment to hit the ball, you make a point, or a combination of all those other things, services, push, block, top spin, all those things to actually give you a particular style of play. Okay, so that is the other aspects, and the second part, what we are going to talk about is how to choose and develop a particular playing style. Okay, and some players seems to develop that on their own. So playing styles, sometimes you just play and you develop a playing style, but others actually develop that by continuous practicing and executing a particular stroke during training session consistently until it becomes reliable that you can use during a game, when you're playing a game, to win a point, and most importantly, enjoy, have fun. Because it's not only about the game, playing the game, winning a point, but having fun, execute those strokes reliability, keeping the balls on the table, doing something you know you're compelling your opponent to allow you to do a certain pattern, you're playing a certain way that favors you, and you can make a point at the end. So firstly, the style can be developed like you just play and you just develop something that you yourself, you can't define that as a style, but you just play and make points using whatever means, like what we said, a combination of other aspects of the game, chop, block, top spin, to actually make a point, or you develop a particular tactics, stroke, during like training, you've done practice training sessions for a long period of time to actually get you to that point, okay? And as a starting point, okay, in order to develop a playing, considering to develop a winning playing style, it is definitely good to know if you are, one, a defender, if you're a defensive player, either using underspin, deep underspin, or short underspin. It just depends on what is comfortable for you, okay? Either you're a defensive player, we were talking about the various style of play, either a defensive player or you are an offensive player. You can actually make points through counter hit. You serve and you have a quick hand, which means you can do multiple counter hits and make points quicker than your opponent. Or you can actually be a blocker, where you just stable and you place the balls in the direction where your opponent struggles to actually return the ball. That's another style of play. You just block, either passive or active block, okay? And either you are an aggressive all-round offensive player, you can actually swing with your forearm, your backhand, and so on and so forth. Or you are a player who actually rely on you use like the pimples surface, either the which slows down the game, and you take an opportunity to hit with your forehand with a topspin. And definitely there is also a counter hitter that we talked about, and yeah, a looping forearm win, which is normally something people use all the time, like offensive advanced players rely mostly on the forearm loop to actually make most points. Okay, so so those are actually the style of play that you can actually pick one of them and develop, and it can as well be a combination of almost everything that you do here in order to form that style of play, in order to become aggressive, win points, and enjoy the game as a whole. So how can you choose from so many interesting options that we just cited, and most of you cited earlier? How do you choose from that? In order to choose from those options, it is very interesting to know that physical and relative quickness in your hands and in your feet is very important to pick a style of play that you actually use. If you're not actually quick on your feet, definitely you don't move as much. You should actually develop a playing style that will actually enables you to either you chopping short balls in, okay, compelling your opponent not to actually hit balls too hard for you to actually take you off balance because you can't move that fast. Okay, so you definitely, if you don't move that fast, automatically you should either be a blocker or a defensive player. You can actually have a combination of all those, but because the mobility is actually reduced, you definitely tend to adapt to a style of play that will suit that your physical aspect. Okay, if you have quick hands is definitely, you can hit balls quickly, counter hit. Then you go with that counter hit style of play, which means, and one thing which is very important that I'll actually make mention later is how you actually develop that style of play that you are actually trying to adapt. Okay, so yeah, that is one of the most important things. If you have like the quick feet where you can move, like myself, I can say I'm an all-round offensive player. I use my forearm most of the time. So I would definitely move from, I don't care playing from here because I know I can move here and make a shot. I know my forearm is actually good. So to me, that is my playing style. I'll compel my opponents to give me balls that I can do a forearm loop or a forearm smash easily because I can't move. But for someone who cannot move, will definitely not be adapting that kind of style of play because it will become challenging for you to actually move and hit balls. You should be able to focus on that style of play that is suitable for your skill set, your physical ability, your quick hands, and your quick feet. Those are the three fundamental aspects that you have to take into consideration before choosing or developing a playing style that you actually want to learn. Any questions? Yeah.
Would it be useful to pick 3, 4, 5 well-known world-class players and describe, okay, this guy is primarily like generally what, the king of block, okay? But what about a Timurval, an Ovcharov, a Marlon? Does it help people to say, oh, he's this kind, or is that not useful?
No, yeah, it is very useful, but at that high level, they both use a combination of everything. But all of them are mostly offensive players because you see most of them use, all of them, yeah, even Warner, he's a good blocker, but he takes the opportunity when you actually give him the ball to go for the topspin. So yes, it's a good thing, but at that high level, they are strictly offensive players. They win points by doing the topspin most of the time. But they can use a combination. You see them sometimes, they do that. The short chop or the push or the block. but most of their points, because most of the points are actually made very quickly with the forehand topspin. Forearm or backhand or counter hit, or they have that variety of play, but they have perfect the topspin. Like Suchi, you see he has an incredible forearm top side spin, which he uses from time to time. That is, everyone has a signature. Like Zanjike is very good with the backhand. He uses that, he plays all along. All the same, he's still an offensive player. He can block, he can topspin if that case actually presents itself. So yes, it's a good way. You can as well, if you think you're a defensive, there are defensive players out there, you go on the net, you can find out, you see how they play, you see how they build their game in order to defend and in order to make points. For example, I'll just have an example. If I'm a blocker, for example, I will instead be giving my opponent long balls for him to actually initiate, open the game, because that is my style of play, block. That will actually permit me, when he opens the game, I can therefore control the ball, push there, or in the middle, or wherever. Then I'm comfortable. But someone who actually doesn't understand will say, I'm giving long balls, but because it's my style of play, I'm comfortable making points, blocking or neutralizing the shots, I stand a better chance of winning, even though he might be very consistent in doing that. But because it's my game, I've practiced on that. I know how to put balls that goes like out of the table, not down the line. It makes it much easier for me to contain him, because if I do that, you topspin, then that is open. I can just hit down the line and make a point. You see, so that is actually, it's something, yeah, I'll definitely address as well. It's something that you can build by understanding the kind of game you play or the kind of player you want to become. Okay? Any other question?
So you say that most players are offensive players, right?
Sorry?
Most players are offensive players.
Yes. Yeah.
And usually when you're an offensive player, you win the point first.
There's a saying in table tennis that there's no place for defenders. Like that's a saying, because offensive players are aggressive. When you go offensive and someone starts defending, then you are also consistent with your strokes. 70-80% of the time, you definitely make a point, because you can put balls at certain points that will force your opponent out of balance. When he's out of balance, then you have a whole variety of options where you can hit the ball, especially with your forearm. That's why the best 10 players in the world are all offensive players. Okay, any other question? Okay, so if you have actually identified your style of play, whichever it is, a blocker, a looper, a counter hit, quick hand, variety of backhand topspin, forehand topspin, how do you tune, how do you turn this style into a strength? That is something you have to definitely understand as well. So when you pick a style, and how do you actually develop this style into a weapon that you compel your opponent to give you an opportunity to use that because it's a weapon that you're developing in order to use during a game. Because most people, I'm saying this because most people that I've seen, mostly at the beginner and intermediary level, they just play. Like, you just go and play. You don't really think of something that you have as a weapon, that you are looking for an opportunity to use that when you have the chance. If you build your game towards that aspect of knowing that if I have this opportunity, this is my weapon, if I use it, I win, then at that point you start developing a winning ideology, winning mindset, and you'll be able to do everything possible to get your opponent, give you the opportunity to use a weapon. So after picking a playing style, you have to turn this playing style, a particular way of playing, into a weapon that you're gonna use at all times. You create an opportunity to definitely use that weapon. So for example, if you identify a weapon as a topspin or a blocker, okay, how do you refine that weapon? How do you refine that weapon in such a way that when you are using that weapon, like block, you're effective, you're efficient, you're reliable? Okay, I will, if someone doesn't mind, I will just demonstrate about 2 or 3 of those style of play we just discussed to show you how it's very important to understand and to initiate, force your opponent, compel your opponent to let you do what you want to do. Play your game. I will adapt. If I have a volunteer, I can try to demonstrate some of those styles of play and how I can build on that. Before we move, because we're talking about refining your weapon, which is your playing style that you want to use. So, oh, my pen is broken. Yeah, do we have a volunteer? Anybody? Okay, yeah. Okay. So at this level, I want to like just demonstrate if I'm a chopper, I just want to, I know that is my game. I want to chop balls. I want to compel him. I want to compel him to actually play the game that I want, just chop balls. That's all I do. I do nothing else. It doesn't mean if you're a chopper, you have an opportunity to either smash or topspin, you still chop the ball. No. But you controlling the game in such a way that if you have that opportunity that the ball goes higher than a ball that you need to chop, you can smash, you can push, you can control to a position where he will not be able to get there easily. Okay? So I'm actually a chopper. I will just, to begin, first of all, services are very important. That is the first step, the entrance into the game. We'll talk about that as well later. But I just want to show, if I'm a chopper, how I will play, my position, how I approach the balls, and how I make it difficult for him to topspin or smash or whatever. Okay? Let's go. You see the very first step? I keep him definitely inside the table. I don't actually play deep. I make sure my balls are short. Even if he's an offensive player, even if he can wait for those balls to go out, it's a risk for him to wait. So he will revert also in chopping the ball. Comfortable for me. It's my style of play I've developed. I'm comfortable with that. I can do that consistently and make a point by doing it. It's not about taking a risk to hit the ball that hard and you miss it. No. It's about winning the point, being consistent, being a reliable stroke so you can actually win a point. It's not about just doing whatever and no. You see, I'll do it again. If you want to attack, that's fine, you try. But I'm making it difficult for him to play his game. That's my goal. Okay? You see? I'll do that. He will not attack the ball. Even if he tries, it will be difficult. So that's actually a chopping, a defensive or chop style of play. You keep the balls inside the table, not out. And you make sure it goes, either you don't give a particular pattern where you put the ball all the time for him to try from once in a while. You keep him guessing, just like that. The ball, short balls, so it makes it better. If I am, for example, a blocker, what I'll do is I'll give deep balls out in such a way that he will have now the opportunity to loop or topspin. Then I block the balls. Okay? So let's try that. Okay? Let's go again. Okay, good. You see? Again, I would give long balls, stop spin, then I can block. So I give him the opportunity to open up the game, then I can block. It's my game. I'm comfortable. If I'm doing that, I should be I've practiced consistently. I'm comfortable actually executing that block. When he blocks, he top spins, I can block there, I can block there, I can block there, and take an opportunity when he breaks, smash or hit the ball. Okay, so we'll just do the last one. Okay, I'll go offensive a little bit, and it will be okay. Yeah. Just receive normally. You see? That is my style. I try as much as possible to keep the balls short, so he actually pushes, and I go offensive. That is actually how it is. So, thank you, Eric. Just to demonstrate a few, there are other style of plays that you have to understand how to develop that style of play into actually a winning style of play, or something you can continuously actually perform and make that better. So in order to refine that any weapon you actually you have developed, the first tactics, like I said before, it actually starts with the services. Most points in table tennis have been made from 3 to 7 strokes. That's 7, it's maximum. It might go above that, but most of it, 80% of the time, it's services point or services control point. It doesn't actually go, that statistics actually have shown that most strokes are actually, points are being made in table tennis after the 3rd to the 7th hit. So you definitely have to perfect your services. You wait for the good return that you're expecting, and you make a point. Even if you're a defensive player, you serve, for example, a blocker or a chopper, you serve short, you push in the middle, you wait for the opportunity. If he doesn't actually top spin, he gives it back to you, you can top spin. A defender doesn't mean you can't top spin. A blocker doesn't mean you can't top spin or you can't smash. But it's something that you have, a style of play that you have developed in such a way that you can use at all times to control your opponent to play actually what you want. You decide when you want to smash, but you're actually blocking and waiting for that opportunity, top spin, and you make a point if you can top spin. So it's not about just using one particular style of play to actually make a point. It's that style of play you've practiced with multiple times, perfect the stroke, and you can add other aspects of the game. Like we said before, there's a particular way of playing, and you can use a combination of all those other style of play to actually make a point during the game. So it's not about just chopping, but chopping and waiting for the opportunity to actually make a point. Okay, like I said before, top players definitely they have a signature style of play where a particular way they play, and they have practiced that over and over and over and over again. It's not just about 1 day, 2 day practice, but something you've done for years. You master it so well that when you're playing, that is what you think about. If I'm playing a game, I think about going offensive all the time. If I have the opportunity, I think about going offensive. I don't think about keeping balls on the board. I think about using that my weapon that I've refined during practice. Serve, execute, serve, execute, serve, top spin, serve. Question? Okay, yeah, like something I've practiced over and over and over again. I try to use that during a game. So basically, that's just that's what is very important. That consistency in the way you've practiced your stroke and how you use that in a game. Like I said earlier as well, it's not about making big shots, like wanting to hit hard and you miss the point. That's a loose point. You're just losing the point. But how you can be consistent, reliability, and take high risk trying to win a point. Big stroke and misses actually, it's not that much if you want to win a game. But how consistent and reliable have you fine-tuned your style of play during practice with players, coaches, watching videos, like You have a reference player you want to watch and understand how he plays and how you can implement that during a game. So that is one aspect. And to build a consistent weapon requires unusual kind of practice as well. If you want to build a consistent weapon that you use, which is your game, either a smash, a topspin, a block, a chop, or whatever, you have to do that during like practice session. You practice in such a way that like the serve and return, like the form, like what we just demonstrated with Eric, how you serve in order to get a particular response from your opponent. Like if your opponent is, you know he's a looper, then you serve deep balls out of the table. The first thing that comes in his mind is, I'm looping it, hitting the ball hard. And you're a blocker, that is your game, you're comfortable. Wherever he goes to, then you block to the other direction. You let him start moving, becoming unstable, unreliable, and definitely will definitely miss a couple of shots. Okay? So that is actually, to refine your style of play, you have to practice that often, all the time. A particular pattern that you use in practicing, serving, receiving. And one thing I also notice is most players, they serve, very important, serve return. You have to work on that. It's very important. I watch players, they play, you serve, you don't understand the effect you're producing. It might be contrary to your style of play. It might be contrary to the weapon you've developed that you want to use, but you're serving something which is not actually reflection of what you want to get back from your opponent, the response you want to get back from your opponent. For example, I'll see some players, they want to actually, they say they are forehand topspin players. They'll serve a side spin serve like that, and they'll move to the middle. The effect that you're producing from the ball, someone who receives the ball from that end, the ball definitely comes here. So, can you receive? Just receive regular. Don't think much. Just receive the serve. I just want to show the effect that the ball actually has. You see, the ball definitely is coming here, but you have a good forearm topspin. You serve and you find yourself here. Then you want to move back, or you want to force yourself to play with your backhand. If you have a good backhand topspin, backhand topspin, that's great. You can use it. But if you're strong using your forearm topspin, if I serve like this, I'll move like this. You see, I'm already there. Because that is actually how my serve is being designed, to get a response from him. I should not just serve and move here without understanding. So I was talking about understanding the effect that you're producing with your serve and how to prepare to use your weapon, your strong point, whatever you want to use. If, for example, I am a blocker, I will not serve a short ball, because if I serve a short ball, definitely he might push long, of which if I don't have a good topspin, I can't execute. So it goes contrary to my style of play. And that's what I find most people, they don't understand that properly, and they just serve, and someone will serve a topspin serve and the ball is this high, and like you're surprised, like, what did I do? I didn't expect this, and you want to, like, you're struggling to adapt to that at that moment. But each time you take a ball you're serving, you should be able to know what you're serving and what your opponent might give back to you, what you're expecting that your opponent might give back to you. So that's just it. Like we did before, if I am a defender, I'll definitely be serving long balls. I'm a topspin player, I'm a blocker, I'll serve long balls. So he will be able to open up the game with a topspin. Then I'm blocking. So it's very important to understand services, how you serve, where you place the ball. Very important. If I want balls here to my forearm, I cannot be serving this service. The side spin. The effect is coming here. The rule of thumb in table tennis is that most people play like diagonal. That's the rule of thumb. Diagonal. 80%, 85% of the time, high-level players as well, they'll play diagonal. That's why you see most of the time they'll loop balls until they go right here. But someone watching will say, oh, that is empty. Why don't you hit the ball there? It's difficult to react at that point in time because the balls are too quick. You don't even have the time to move an inch to change the angle and direction of the ball. So normally, the same thing with the backhand. If I'm here, you put the ball in my backhand, the first direction I'm hitting the ball is that way because it's easier for me. I don't have that position to control myself to hit it there. Yes, I can do that in a game sometimes, but just to get the rally going, I'll definitely play diagonal. So the rule of thumb is diagonal. Coming back to that, if I'm serving and I want a ball to my forearm to actually topspin, I'll be serving balls there. Receive. I'll be serving balls if he's actually standing at that end. If I serve balls to his forearm, 80% of the time, those balls will definitely come here. Sometimes, yes, he might put it here, which is true. But 85% of the time, I'm sure he'll put those balls here or wide. So if I'm serving and I want him to put those balls there, either I put a reverse side spin that will actually just receive normally there. You see, again. You see, the balls, I'm serving to where I want the ball to go to. But if I serve the service there, he will try to control it here. Unconsciously or consciously, that's how the brain works in table tennis. Unless you think a little bit higher, that you understand the effect, then you want to like neutralize the effect by placing the ball to a different direction. Thank you. So, basically, the serve is very, very, very important. Handling the transition from a serve and a return attacking shot is very critical in modern table tennis. Very, very. I cannot underline how important that is because that is where the game actually begins. It's the same thing. If he serves to me and I'm a top spin player, what will happen is I'll try as much as possible to open up the game, so that he gives me a ball, along with that I can topspin. If he serves to me a short ball, I'm a blocker, I'll push deep. So he topspins, and so serve return, very, very critical in modern day table tennis. And when I talk about open the game, like who opens a game first and how, to open a rally definitely means the first person to actually hit an offensive shot. That's you opening the game. Whoever like chop opens the game. It's very, very important. And with your style of play, you should be able to compel your opponent to determine if you want to open first or your opponent should open first, depending on your style of play. A chopper, a counter hit player, a topspin player, a blocker, you should be able to determine who opens first, using your serve and the way you actually place the balls to your opponent. Any question with regards to that? Okay, so so it's therefore very important to emphasize your service, which is actually the beginning of who opens first, who opens second, and how the play actually enroll. Okay, and another aspect that I'm talking about is after you have actually, that's refining your weapon that you actually have. You decide who opens first, who opens second, and you regain control of a rally. Sometimes actually anything can happen when a rally gets going. You might meet an opponent who is actually way powerful than you, and your style of play you actually not be able to implement your style of play or your game plan, what you have in your head. It's very difficult to do that. You meet someone who is definitely higher than you, he plays better than you, what would you do? that's the question I always I always have from most of my students, that yeah, I'm playing someone who is 500 or 1,000, I'm 400, I'm 200. How do you think I will cope with that kind of a player? Anyone has an idea?
What's the question again?
Now, if you're playing someone who is higher than you, you have your style of play, okay? And definitely you're playing a game and the person doesn't respond to anything you want him to, you want you to play. What would you do in that case?
Pray.
Okay? How?
Think different techniques, try something different.
Okay, yeah, anyway, that's true. Anyway, there are definitely 3 things that you can actually do, because that's part of the game. You definitely meet people. You play with me, of which if you like 200 or 300, you're playing with someone with, let's say, 500 or 700. He's definitely superior than you in so many aspects. But if you have a game, a style of play that you have developed, you can try as much as possible to take advantage of that. But the 3 things you can actually do is you can escalate you can actually escalate the play by whatever he does, you try to hit faster, counter hit as quickly as possible, and to try as much as possible to counter his style. Something you can try. Secondly, you can definitely try to maintain the rally as much as you can. Keep the play as long as possible, hoping that he misses, which in some case your opponent might be too strong. And thirdly, you can try to reset the point. Resetting the point definitely means, like what you just said, you neutralize the game by doing something different. If your opponent is, for example, he's a top spin player, okay? He's hitting hard top spins to me. What I can do to neutralize the game, one, I can move out a little bit and try to chop the ball if the balls are not too quick, or I can block passive. Passive in such a way that he's actually here doing a top spin, and I block passive, it neutralizes the game. He stops, he moves in, I want to change, do something different. That is to me, that is the best option that you can use. Try as much as possible to neutralize the game. If you see him playing a particular pattern, he topspin too much, just passive block. If you block in active, the balls go back directly to him where he is, and he'll be hitting continuously. It's something he has practiced. He's good at it. But if you actually break by either putting an underspin, you see he stops. You've neutralized the game at that point. He stops, he moves in, back. Then you try as much as possible to implement or try to force him to play something that you think will be comfortable for you to manage. So those are some of there are many other options that you can use, but generally those are the three main options you can definitely use to sustain someone who definitely has a superior game plan, a superior style of play than you actually have. Okay, so you try to escalate the shot, play hit the balls as fast as you can to win the point immediately, or you can play along, hoping that your opponent definitely misses the point. And thirdly, you can neutralize the shots. It's better to de-escalate the rally by neutralizing. To me, that's the best option than relying on the first 2 options, which you might not be really comfortable doing it more often. Okay, so that is actually how to, like we talk about, developing your weapon, refining your weapon, and be able to use your weapon. You create opportunities to be able to use that style of play you've developed, that particular pattern of play you've developed, or a combination of multiple aspects that you've developed in order to win points and definitely enjoy the game. And that way we come to the conclusion. But if you have any questions, you can let me know. Okay, and so you will have to practice your best shots until they are highly reliable in a well structured manner, and you serves, short game, recovery shot to promote the kind of return that you want from your opponent, so you can execute your tactics well and with precision, but most importantly, reliability in your strokes, and precision is also very, very important, fundamentally important for developing your game. So this element of winning playing style, you can definitely use that in tournaments, use that a basement, in park, wherever you want to play to have fun. And I think it's something with constant practice in a particular way, in a particular pattern, can help you develop a winning style that you can use against even someone who is really good but doesn't have that particular pattern or style of play. You can use to overcome superior players, because you think a little bit differently. You don't just go into play a game and expect to make points by chance or by hitting all multiple strokes like 10, 20, but doing something in a particular way that you've practiced over and over, and you try as much as possible to prevent your opponent from using his own weapon that he has developed, be it block, be it topspin, be it chop, be whatever, defense from behind or attacking close to the table. You try to prevent him from doing that. You compel him to always play, give you the chance to play the shots you want to play. It's very vital, and I believe it's something each and everyone, myself inclusive, I always have to work on it, fine-tuning my game and how to be able to adapt. If I meet someone who is superior than me, how can I manage the game rather than just letting it, oh, I can't play, or no. You can de-escalate the game. You can actually neutralize a lot of shots, or you can actually be fast making the points immediately. So it's something I would like each and everyone to think about it, not just play games and just expect to make free points by chance, but have a precise way, pattern in which you know if your opponent actually let you play in that way, you're definitely gonna win the point, win the match. And like I said, picking a style of play, a winning style of play, will depend on three things: physical ability, your feet, your quick hands, how you can respond to whichever style of play that you want to choose. Okay? Any questions?
What advantage do you have? Who opened the game first? So if I'm serving, I can serve short, I can serve long. If I serve long, he'll loop it, topspin it. I want to know whether it's good for him to open the game first, I counter-attack him, or I should be the one to open the game first.
Okay. It all comes down again to your style of play. If you are a blocker, a counter-hit player, you serve long.
You say what?
Long.
Long.
Yeah.
He'll loop it.
Yes. He will loop instantly, without even thinking. That is your comfort zone, because you've practiced how to block balls so easily. Long balls, he loops, then you watch him. Definitely what you have to do is, you now serve into a point where you get him off balance, that he will probably, I'll serve a long ball to his forearm. I know he might loop here or here, I'm ready. If he goes there, loop the ball, I can block there. It becomes so easy for me. I can show that, Eric, if you want to come. Let me just, yeah, so who opens first will depend on your game. Like I said, you practice, you actually fine-tune your game in such a way that you determine who opens first. If you want to open first, then you serve short balls, and you push long sometimes to where he's not actually there, for him to also play deep. then you can open first. Then if your game is opening first and follow through with counter hit or topspin, then it's good for you to open first. If not, then it's good for you to force him to open first, then you can actually defend, block. And it also falls in the other aspect, like the other aspect of a combination of multiple shots in order to make a point. Chop, block, topspin, hit. You can do a combination of all those. You can actually have that as a style of play. Okay? For example, I will serve, okay? Then I'll push the ball long to the forearm. You go and topspin. You see, I can easily block because he's going off. Now he's thinking. He knows what I'm doing, so he's even more ready. But during a game, I don't think he will be that ready to run back and actually hit. So you see, if I chop there, he loops wherever. He might play here. Advanced players will definitely want to hit it here because they know you will not have the time, because I'm ready to play from here. But here, I will not have the time to really like decide where I want to put it. I just want to save the ball. But if you play it here, then it's easier for me to just hit and control down the line. Easy. So yeah, to answer your question, it goes back to the style of play you're comfortable playing. Does that actually answer your question? Yeah. So you should be able to understand those little things that most of the time we don't pay attention, we neglect. But it's very, very, very important. Services, return, and what to expect from your opponent, and how to counter, neutralize whatever he sends back to you. Some people definitely are all around the chop, forearm, backhand. They play from here. They are comfortable chopping out of the table. That is a style of play. So they give you all long balls so you can actually topspin. And they are here, they chop the balls all, waiting for you to actually give a high loop, which is slow. They might come in and they'll hit. Yusuf, I know you play like that as well. You chop, enjoy, and and the rubbers you also use is a very important aspect. I'll just talk about that a little bit. What you put on your sheet, either some people use like no spin and spinny rubbers, so they can alternate. Like you yourself, you use that as well. So you can actually do that. Anti-spin, it has sometimes crazy effects. That if you're not careful, you chop the balls and it goes that high, and they move in, pop, smash, or topspin. That is a style of play which definitely you can build on. You set it up with your anti-spin, then you put it in such a place that your opponent is not comfortable returning. Then you move in, topspin, smash, style of play. You serve and you look for that opportunity, you move in, topspin, you smash. If you have that kind of a rubber, that is the kind of style of play you should actually adapt. Defensive, offensive. Defend, high ball, you don't go again and defend. You should be able to hit it hard, not defending, because if you're doing that miss, you don't really have a style, you're just playing whatever. That feels comfortable at that time. If I'm using an anti-spin, a pin push, I'll definitely be chopping those balls there in a variety of chops. I vary them. And when you actually chop the balls, they go high, I'm there to finish. I know I'm planning for that. That is my weapon. That smash or the top spin. That is my weapon. I should be refining during practice session. How do I hit those balls if they go high? Chop. How do I hit those balls? How do I top spin those balls if they go high? So it's not just about keeping consistency, but making sure you're taking advantage of the weapon you have developed, you have refined, in order to use when the opportunity or occasion presents itself.
So I don't know how many there are, but I'd say there's like 8 or 9 basic strokes. Most of them can be forehand and backhand. So for a player that's trying to improve, I know we all are, but for a player that's trying to improve, is it better to find out the 5 or 6 strokes that are actually pretty good at, and really focus on those, and maybe ignore. Maybe you can't do a backhand loop. Okay? Don't try and do a backhand loop, just block. Or is it better to try and build a foundation in all of the strokes before you try and focus on the 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever it is, weapons that you have? Is it better to have a few strong weapons, or is it better to have a broad foundation where some strokes are a bit better than others? What would you recommend?
Yeah, good question. It's definitely recommended to have a broad foundation, because every one of us here has a different playing style. So if you don't have that broad foundation, your menu, your repertoire is not that big, you'll just be limited to 3 of these players to play with. But if you meet someone who has something different, you should be able, because you have a solid base foundation, 4 basic strokes: topspin, chop, block, smash. You'll be able to understand those that's the foundation. You can definitely play a multitude of players. You meet players, especially at the intermediate level, most of them will actually be pushing balls, chop, underspin. If you're not comfortable, it's a very important stroke at that level. At a high level, yeah, they can do that 1, 2, and they go smash or topspin. But at the intermediate level, 80% of the players will definitely be pushing balls and waiting for that right opportunity before they can execute, or they force themselves into doing it. Sometimes they miss it. But yes, have that broad foundation, then you can now develop that weapon. Everyone here has an aspect, has a particular stroke that you can execute well all the time to make a point. Everyone here has that. Knowingly or unknowingly, there is something that you find it so easy for you to actually do multiple times to make a point. That is your strong point. That is your weapon that you can develop. You can actually have a combination of all those, like I said before. You can make a point through chop, chop, block, block, topspin, or whatever, or counter hit. You can make a point doing all that. But you have one aspect that if it's a block, an offensive block, if you do that, if your opponent topspin, you can actually counter a hit by either blocking active and hitting the ball to a direction where he will actually struggle, or before he recovers to get there. If someone knows that he has a good deep chop, if he does this so deep, your opponent can actually topspin. After a rally, you do that, your opponent can't topspin. Either he's scared, he breaks, he goes back by chopping the ball. But if he tries to loop, then that is a lost case. So everyone has it. It's just that most people just play, they don't identify that strong point that they have. It might be just control. You're good at like rallying, you have a quick hand, you can hit balls faster. That is your strong point that you use. It doesn't mean you can't make points by chopping or by looping or by smashing, but if you actually have the opportunity to do this all the time, you make more points. Does that answer your question? Any other question?
That might be an inch. We can invite the people to go at the table, and you can go around, and if they have more questions, you can ask them.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, so I hope everyone today probably should be thinking differently about the game, how you build your game, and how to actually develop your style of play, starting from your services, execution, who opens first, who doesn't open first, depending on what you prefer. So yeah, we can go around and play. I'll move around. If you have any other questions, I'll be able to address them. Thank you.